The APN's The Pulse podcast is hosted by Alexandra Levine, host of the Alexandra Levine Live podcast. Damon Galdo, host of the Jersey Shore podcast. And Seth Eisenberg, host of the Conservative Corner podcast. Also, there will be 2 additional guests on every episode. So please like, subscribe, and then share this episode on your social media accounts that The Pulse is live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Hey, good evening, everybody. I am Seth Eisenberg. It is 8 o'clock on the nose, and this is America's Pulse Network, The Pulse. Like every Wednesday, we get together and talk about some stuff and give politicians a hard time and all that kind of fun stuff that everybody should do every day of the week. Because remember, politicians are not gods. They are public servants, and somewhere along the line, we've forgotten that, and so have they. So it's not really their fault. It's more our fault for letting them get that way. But it is what it is. So we get together with a bunch of like-minded people, and we talk about them and make fun of them and ridicule them and maybe talk about some important stuff along the way. But it's always a good time. That's it, really. So we got a pretty good show this evening. We're going to jump right into the breaking news stuff that we have going on. The first thing we got here is, let me find out where that is. Right there. Matt Van Epps wins his congressional election. Very tight, apparently. More tighter than they would have liked it to be. And the concern is that's going to could possibly spell some trouble next election cycle for Republicans there. I don't think it will. I think it's just a bunch of doomsaying. People just like with nothing else better to do. So they go, oh, no, now we could probably lose it all, blah, blah, blah. Nobody knows. They can make assumptions and make guesses, but nobody knows. So I don't put much fact or much weight into the talking heads. Guessing and looking at their crystal ball. It is what it is. He won. That's all that matters. I don't win by an inch, win by a mile. A win's a win. That's all that matters. I don't care by how much or how little. That has never really bothered me. Also, Donald Trump has said that anything that AutoPen was used on while Lunch Bucket Joe was in office is going to be null void and no longer in force or effect. And you really can't argue with that. I mean, the president didn't sign it. A machine did. You don't even know if he was aware of what was being signed, if it was just signed because somebody else wanted it. So I agree with it. And it wouldn't have mattered who the president was. I don't care if it was Trump and they used AutoPen. If it's not effective, it doesn't have the full power of the office behind it. So, yeah, it needs to be null and void or has no force or effect anymore. I completely agree with that. I mean, most of Joe Biden's presidency was a joke anyway. Let's try to salvage a little dignity out of it and say, hey, everything you sign with the crayon, it doesn't count anymore. Sorry. Wipe off your chin, empty your drool cup, and go stare at your leg hair. But yeah, we need to, I agree, 100%. And again, it wouldn't matter to me who the president was at the time. AutoPen doesn't count. It's like a rubber stamp. You got to, if it's important, you got to sign it. Don't have some machine doing it for you. Christ almighty. If you're that damn lazy and you can't sign your own name, maybe it's time for you to leave. He should have left. Maybe he wouldn't have fallen off the bike or fallen up the stairs. I still don't know how that's like a defying gravity. Fall upstairs. You don't fall down, he fell up. I mean, that's impressive when you think about it. I mean, not many people can say, hey, I tripped and fell up the stairs. Could be something there. I'm impressed. So, we're going to get into the show here. But before we do that, usually people who do this have like a little monologue. I usually do an opinion at the end, but since it's not my show, technically, I'll do my little thing at the beginning. And it kind of falls in line with some of what we're going to be talking about this evening. So, kind of foreshadowing. Whenever the woke brigade storms the castles of anything fun or neat, the same tragic comedy plays out in 3 acts. Act 1 is we're just adding representation. Act 2, everything gets uglier, preachier, and twice as expensive. And that final act, the audience vanishes faster than free beer and an AA meeting. Hollywood used to print money, now it prints sermons. Marvel went from Avengers Assemble to Avengers, please check your privilege and use the correct pronouns while you assemble. Disney's latest flops cost more than most small nations' GDP and still managed to bore everyone except the 3 blue-haired interns who greenlit them. God bless them. Video games, remember them? What the heroes used to look like? Now they look like HR violations. Now every protagonist resembles the person who ruined your group project in school. Basically, gaming, it's now basically the gaming equivalent of a vegan butcher shop. Video games are no longer fun. Comedy is dead, and the Corners report just reads, died of sensitivity training. Seinfeld won't play colleges because the kids get the vapors. If you misgender their emotional support hamster. Universities triple tuition to pay for more administrators whose full-time job is inventing new ways to be offended on somebody else's behalf. Congrats, you now owe $180,000 for your degree in advanced outrage studies. Bud Light hired Dylan Mulvaney and accidentally invented the first beer that lowers your testosterone simply by looking at the can. Sales still haven't recovered. Turns out most guys who drink light beer don't want to be lectured to by a TikTok dress-up doll. The golden rule of modern liberalism, hand them anything people enjoy, sports, movies, comedy, beer, childhood cartoons, and within 2 years, it'll be deader than disco and twice as sanctimonious. They're basically the human equivalent of pouring oat milk into a perfectly good cup of coffee. It ruins the drink, but acts morally superior as you do it. Liberals ruin everything, no matter what it is. Laws, holidays, food, restaurants, movies, everything. And we're going to kind of talk about the bull crap that we have to put up with them in today's show. But first, let's get down with my co-host, the Hammer. Well, there he is. Wait, here it comes.
Hammer. This hammer.
The Hammer. The Hammer.
Big word, man. My daughter bought me a bigger one than this one. She said, yeah.
But it's a cool hammer. Does it make the bonk sound when you hit things?
Yes, it does.
That's awesome.
It's got, squeaky sound.
See, I wish when I did this, like the sword would, like you hear like screaming, like, oh my God, he's cutting me. But I don't get that.
This one makes the bonk sound, but it's on. This is what she brought me first. Not that hammer, the other one.
That makes the thud sound after you use it. So Damon's with us here today, the Hammer. Our special guest is a good guy. Fred Profiter. I'm the vice president of his club, the Frederick County Conservative Club in Frederick, Maryland. Obviously, the Frederick Conservative Club would not be in Delaware. It's in Frederick. How you doing, Fred?
All right. Yourself?
Ready for an evening of IQ-numbing banter?
That's why you invited me, right?
Yeah, because I don't want to lose IQ points alone, so I got to have people here. So let's bring everybody on. Alexandra can't be with us this evening. Apparently, her middle name is Graceful, and she tripped on a dress and hurt herself. So I don't know if that's like a keep her in your.
What you said was funny.
I don't know if it's like that should be like a keep her in your prayers thing or don't laugh at her for being clumsy thing. I don't know. So keep her in your prayers. Try not to laugh. I mean, she hurt her jaw and her hand, so at least it's not like she broke something. So she should be okay. And she probably will be back on her show this week. And a black eye, maybe. I don't know. She's tough. I'm pretty sure it wasn't a dress. She probably got in a street fight. and got locked up, and she's just trying to make up an excuse. Oh, no, it was a dress. I tripped on a dress. 7 times. So the first segment is going to be about, as it says right down there, crime. Crime in America is out of hand. It's, I don't want to say epidemic levels, but it's getting there. It's every time you turn on the news, some fool's doing something illegal, and it seems like nobody gets in trouble for it. Here's the first fool I want to kind of talk about with everybody. He's like Robin Hood now. Luigi Mangina. What's it? Mangione. Whatever his name is. Killed a man in cold blood. He killed the CEO of a health insurance company in cold blood. And he's a hero. People are like worshiping this man as a hero. He's a murderer. Well, an accused murderer. He hasn't been found guilty of any crime yet. He's only been charged. And of course, and if anybody out there is a lawyer who's going to be watching this, what I'm about to say, I mean in general, I don't mean specifically you. The only difference between a lawyer and a whore is after you're dead, the whore stops trying to fuck you. That's the only difference between a lawyer and a whore. And of course, he's found some of the best whore lawyers he could find who are trying to get things tossed out and removed. It's horrible. I mean, it's on film. The murder's on film. A security cam caught it. It's not like this is all speculation. It was videotaped. What do you think about this, Fred?
And I bring in the evidence that I was carrying in my backpack.
Well, yeah, and he was caught in a McDonald's with all the stuff in the backpack. Why do you think people are treating him like a hero?
So upset with health insurance. I mean, hero. He's a scumbag.
Well, no, yeah, and again, I mean in general, and I agree. Health insurance companies suck. They get paid when you're healthy. When you're sick, they don't pay back.
Right.
But that doesn't give you a reason to go shoot people.
Yeah. And you walk up behind somebody and shoot them. Yeah, if you're gonna take somebody out, do it to their face.
Well, yeah, let them. Don't be a coward. I mean, I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, and I think Aaron Rodgers is the worst thing since moldy bread. I don't want to hurt the man. I don't like him, but I don't want to hurt him. So it just seems that nowadays people look for any excuse. Well, I don't want to say excuse. They look for a reason to make it an excuse to kill somebody. And then you're just supposed to go, oh, okay. Well, if that's how you feel. So speaking of insurance companies that suck, we just got Damon who tells a story about something he's doing with his insurance companies. So here's the question. Do you feel that justifies you going out and shoot somebody?
No, it does not. Even though my insurance company, well, again, they didn't screw up, but the hospital screwed up, and it's a whole waste of time that they're putting me through hours and hours of phone calls. No, it doesn't justify me shooting somebody. It justifies me saying, I wish people would do their damn job. And that's part of what you're talking about, how you think that people think it's okay to go shoot somebody, just like people think that it's okay not to do their job. That's what we're lacking in this country right now, and I believe it's part of just the way we look at things nowadays. They make it okay. I mean, and again, I'll be biased here to Democrats. The Democrats, they go on and they say all these different things. That ad they had about, I'm sure you're probably going to talk about it. You already did on your show, and I did on mine, saying you can ignore illegal orders and all that stuff. And they call everyone Hitler, fascists, and everything else. So it makes it okay for these people to do this. And that is the major problem. And makes it okay with being a welfare state to, I don't have to do my job. So nobody really does their job. And then it makes it okay for people to do things like this, like Luigi Mangina, as you said. I don't know how you come up with these terms. I really don't.
I make myself laugh. It's kind of scary when this is not like all of a sudden this is just happening. People justifying evil acts in their own mind. This is not a new thing. It's just been going on forever. But the problem is now other people are joining in. Like, oh yeah, he should have shot him. That guy's dead. I'm glad, screw the insurance companies, blah, blah, blah. And I think, like you were saying, I think what makes it easier is number one, texting. And let me explain what I mean by that. Texting. I remember we used to handwrite letters to people. You'd mail them, and then you'd get the handwritten letter, and it meant something. You could actually oh, he must have been really upset. You could tell by the way he's writing. You get a text, it's just words on a screen. You don't associate it with anything anymore. You go to school, they got their face buried in the computers rather than books, so they're not talking to anybody. They're looking at a screen all the time. We've dehumanized people. We've desensitized people to human. So when you look at somebody, it's not like I'm looking at Damon the Hammer or Fred Profiter. I'm looking at, oh, that's the guy that has the rubber hammer. Oh, that's the guy that's the president of that club. I don't see a human anymore. I associate them with something else. And I think that makes it easier for people to hurt people because I don't see a person now. I see the CEO of an insurance company, and I'm mad at them. So I'm going to hurt the insurance company by killing that guy. And I think that's the problem. Huh?
It starts with abortion. Abortion has
Well, yeah, no, you're right. There's a whole lot of things that get put into that pot, and it's not. And I'm not saying it's just one thing. I'm saying the one thing that's most widely used, texting and cell phones and all that, is what's pulling people further apart and making it easier to look at people as things and not human beings. Easier, like he's not a person; he's a CEO. So it doesn't matter if I hurt him; he's just a CEO. They don't know he's a father, a son, a brother, a friend. They don't see that. And the problem is people, not just the murderer or the accused murderer, but people who are supporting him see people the same way now. It's not a person that was a CEO, so it doesn't matter.
And Seth, you're absolutely right about that. And that's what my son, he's 7 years old. He likes playing his PS5 and plays around with his phone. So I got to tell him, listen, go outside, touch grass. That's when you interact with people. Because that's what he needs to do. Because when people are all on social media all the time, using their phones, texting, it doesn't give you the human interaction. So it like you said, desensitize people. So that's why I tell them all the time. Why do I have to do it? I could talk to my phone. I said no, face-to-face interaction when it gives you like the courage to move on in life. To actually do something and not be afraid when you're confronted by someone. And it just, that's what it is. That's why we're losing people that are going to church. Well, it's actually starting to, we're making a little spike in there now. Yep. But the community, and then people have lost that sense of community. And when you were part of a community, and you had, it doesn't matter if it was church or anything else, but I grew up in a tight-knit neighborhood in Fishtown in Philadelphia, but everyone knew each other because we were always outside talking to each other. Yep. But when you get on this and you're on this all day, that's all you know, then that's all you know.
What do you think, Fred? You think that plays a role in all this?
Absolutely. I mean, you lose that human touch. And you go back to the PS5 or whatever, and PlayStation, people don't realize, or those playing don't understand that once you shoot somebody, once you kill somebody, not like, Legions of Doom or GTA or whatever. I'm not a gamer. I have no clue. So I hit you.
I am.
You had plenty of time.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah. Well, I could play watching through my foot, so I wouldn't miss any of the screenshots. I could kick my feet up and still see the screen. Now, here's a little something off topic. I'm going to go down a rabbit hole. I'm going to go down a rabbit hole right here when it comes to video games. Real quick, we'll jump back on target here in a second. I firmly believe, was it Battlefield and the Call of Duty games and the jet fighting games? I firmly believe they're put out there by the military to desensitize children to fighting. So when they join the military, they're quicker to do what they got to do because all they'll see is a video game. They've been trained to do it. They've been doing it since they're kids. Drone pilots, it's just a video game. It looks like a video game. Yep. You don't know what you're doing, and it's a game. The controllers they use pretty much look like game controllers. I think it's all by design. And I'm not knocking the military. I'm just saying that's just my little conspiracy theory when it comes to video games and violence. I think it's there for a purpose.
Well, I would say, yeah, with the drone part and all that stuff, because that is all like remote controlled. But I would say with the Call of Duty stuff, when they're going in there and shooting people, and they're not getting shot at themselves. They're not getting hurt. You put them in the battle with that, and there's live bullets coming at them. They might. I think they might.
Reality check.
Yeah. So,
like I said, it's in a rabbit hole. There's lots of little warrants off that rabbit hole, so there's more to it than that. But no, I agree. And then we have. I don't know if you all. I think you talked about this on your show, Damon. The guy that doused the girl with gasoline and then lit her on fire.
Yeah. And
I'm not going to show all that. I'm just going to show the preamble. I don't want to get into that because I think it's horrible and disgusting. A 50-year-old man doused a woman in gasoline, lit the bottle on fire, and used it to ignite her. Lawrence Reed, that's the whatever, set Bethany McGee on fire aboard a Chicago train. And of course, now I think everybody is claiming, he has mental disease. He's got a mental illness. He can't control himself. To a degree, I will give people the mental illness thing to a degree. Like I can understand maybe you're not in full control of your faculties. I understand that you should be on medication. But if you're that bad, then you shouldn't be out in public. If his illness was so bad that he lit somebody on fire, someone along the line should have picked up on that and locked him up. If not for his own good, for everybody else's good. But we don't do that anymore because I'm sure that's kind of some phobia or ism or something. What do you think should happen to that guy, David? If you were the judge and you could rule whatever you wanted to rule, what would you rule?
Well, I mean, if it's me or okay. So, what I would say is I would rule that he gets locked away for the rest of his life and never gets out. I mean, I wouldn't say death penalty for that. If he's crazy, and no one ever, they seem to not look at it. And they let him out. 72 arrests. He had 72 arrests, convicted of 8 felonies. So that's the way our system works now. It's unbelievable. He should not be out at all. And that's it. Man, I'll let you go and chime in here because I'll finish up my statement afterwards. I know you want to say something, Fred.
Yeah, Fred.
72 priors. He never should have been on the street. 8 felonies. Never should have been on the street. Now they have this judicial accountability bill that's going through Congress now. Somebody has so many priors, I don't know what it is, and the judge sets them free, and they recommit within 12 months. The judge is facing charges now.
Where's that at?
It's a law they're trying to run.
Oh, okay. Because if you look at it, look at the soft on crime stuff. Look at Zora Mondani. Look at and many other of the socialist left, Democrats or communists, we want to call them too, because he's a communist. But they say, we want to defund the police. We would rather have social workers, show up to an incident. Now, okay. All right, this debunks their case right here and then. So if you want social workers, the social workers should have said, this dude is nuts. He shouldn't be on the street, and if you want to have him evaluated by a social worker or a psychiatrist and all that stuff, and that's who you want to show up on the scene of a crime, you just lose your case right there. No, you need police. You need force. You need to, and you can say, no, this guy's, he's got to go. He's got to go inside, 72 arrests, 8 felonies, and so forth. And then he lights a poor young girl on fire for no apparent reason.
Well, I don't care if there was a reason. I don't care I don't care if she was using racial slurs towards him and giving him the finger. I don't care. There's nothing that anyone could say that would make me go, oh yeah, light him on fire. That's a reasonable response. Light him on fire.
Yeah. I always carry flammables with me, don't you?
I always do. Yeah, I got a gallon of gasoline with me right now, just in case something happens, because that's what normal people do, carry accelerant. As far as the law trying to go through to hold judges accountable, I don't know how I feel about that. I really don't. I mean, I don't think we need a law. That I think we just need to have judges enforce the law. Like, I don't care what you feel. The law says X, Y, Z. You have to do X, Y, Z. I didn't hear you.
What are the repercussions if they don't?
I just don't think you should hold somebody accountable for somebody else's actions. That'd be like, I just don't. I'd have to see it implemented. I'd have to see the law to understand it better. But as on its face, I don't know if I could get behind it. Because suppose you got a really good judge, and the sentencing parameters say you can only give this guy like 6 months. You give the guy 6 months, and then he's out for 3 and kills somebody. Is that really his fault?
Follow the parameters, fine. And they recommit after that, then hammer on. Don't. There's just
yeah. I'll have. Yeah, I'll have to look at the law. I'll have to find it and read it because I've never been a big fan of holding somebody else responsible for somebody else's actions. I've never. Unless it's a child, that's a different story. Like a parent-child's different, but 2 grown adults, I don't.
Well,
I can see that.
It's a slippery slope. I mean, you can.
Yeah.
I mean, their action would be that they didn't uphold the law and they let this person go, so that was their action by doing so. Yeah, but to prove that and say, oh, he should have got 5 years, but he only gave him 2. I mean, that just opens up a can of worms. That's a tough thing. It's a very slippery slope. I can't see it either.
Yeah, I'd have to read the law.
That's when
maybe it's different. Maybe it's worded to where I'm like, oh shit, yeah, I agree with that 100%. I don't know. I haven't seen. I just saw the snippet today that's what they're trying to do. I haven't really looked into it, so I'm not for it or against it right now. I'm kind of like undecided until I know more about it.
Well, that's why we vote. That's why we vote. Vote the right people win.
We just had a case here in Frederick.
Was that
where a guy had child porn? He was facing 14 years in jail. Suspended all but 18 days.
See, that's where I disagree. Anything that involves children, you should get the maximum. If it involves children in any way, shape, or form, you should get the maximum.
Absolutely.
I think children and the elderly are 2 different aspects. I think those 2 groups should be protected, and that anybody who would do that with someone who has child pornography needs to be investigated too. Why are you so lenient on this person? Is it because you got child porn too? Do you understand what he's going through? That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's makes me want to punch a goddamn puppy. And we remember this one. This was from way back. That is, and I'm going to mispronounce her name, and I'm sorry. Irina Zertusky, I believe. And again, I've butchered it, and I apologize. This guy's been arrested. He was arrested, like 10 times or something like that, or 14 times, had a record.
55 times.
Was on the, and that was all on video, like the other one, but I'm not going to show it because it's horrible. What really burnt my ass about this one, and I think we talked about this, Damon, on one of the other pulses, she died in a car full of people. There were people on the subway car, whatever you call them, sat there and watched this woman bleed out. Did fucking nothing to help her. They should be charged too.
Yeah, accessories.
Yeah.
Something.
I mean, again, that's a slippery slope too, to charge people for not helping. I know they had the Good Samaritan law, which is the opposite of that.
Yeah, if you help, you can't get in trouble.
Yeah. So, but it's still, people can just say, "Oh,
what's your
I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if I could help her."
Then you hold her hand. You know she's dying. Just be there. Christ, everybody was doing this.
No, I agree with that. I agree that those people should be shamed into non-existence because of what everyone did on that train that didn't help her out. What was it, 1 minute and 30 seconds before somebody actually came up?
I think, almost 2 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, but people saw it. And people
watched the guy stand her.
And the guy's walking by, blood dripping from the knife and everything else, and they just didn't do anything. Now, again, it's a slippery slope with the law saying you have to stop somebody. You say, well, hey, I'm not a police officer. I never signed up for this. But
true.
Be an American. Be a man. You know what I mean? Like, seriously. I mean, how do you? I mean, me personally, I know you probably couldn't, and Fred, I don't know you till now, but I'm sure you probably couldn't see something like that happen and just sit by idly and film it or walk away from it and not. It just that's the whole stain in our society right now that I was talking about earlier. It's just everyone's on their phone. Everyone doesn't care about people. They're not, you know, they just don't want to know anybody other than what's on their social media, and they don't care. And that everyone's so desensitized to these crimes, and that's where we got to get it back. I mean, I couldn't. Do you think that would have happened? If that would have happened, say, 30 years ago, do you think the same situation? There wasn't cell phones. I'm not saying people were filming, but do you think that everyone would have sat by idly and not tried to tackle that guy? I mean, we had Daniel Penny, who was a hero, and then he gets trashed for. Maybe that's part of the problem too.
I think it is. So, I think that put a moment of pause with everybody. Like, well, shit, that guy was in the right. Look what they did to him. I'm not getting caught up like that. I'm not going to get twisted in the law system and maybe lose everything and be in jail for the rest of my life. I think that is 100% the reason why a lot of people don't get involved anymore. But if you ask my father, who's a New Yorker retired cop, he said there's two kinds of people in this world, Seth: sheepdogs and sheep. Either you're a sheepdog and you look out for the sheep, or you're a sheep and you run to the sheepdog when you need help, because there's no in-betweens.
Yep.
And you have to make a decision what you want to be when you get older. Do you want to be a sheep and look for help, or do you want to be the sheepdog and be the help? Because it's up to you. And I agree with that. Fred, what do you think?
Bruce Banner moment.
You won't like me when I'm angry.
I grabbed
Not to
that
make
guy
light of the situation, but
collar and his belt and run him through the way. After I took care of her.
Now remember, he was mentally ill, and that's what everybody's saying. He doesn't need to be in jail. He's mentally ill. He wasn't in control of his faculties.
Mentally ill. It's so easy to get a mental diagnosis.
No, I agree, and like I said, to a point, I will give you mental illness. I'll go, okay, I can understand. I understand certain things, but when you go past that line, like he did, I don't care. I'm sorry. You may have a mental illness, and I'm sorry that you didn't get it treated. I'm sorry that it plagued you for all your life, but you just forfeited your life. You have taken the life of somebody for no other reason than because you're mentally unstable. And if you're that mentally unstable, you can't be in society anymore. You can't be trusted anymore.
He'd never out there.
No.
55 priors.
No, yeah, that's insane. I know. And I don't even know if I want to go down this road. I don't care anymore. I will. I was listening to Gutfeld last night, and they were talking about a guy in New York apparently defended himself, and we got to move on the next segment soon. So I just saw that. So, but real quick, the guy defended himself, but his gun wasn't registered. So the guy tried to rob him, and tried to harm him, and he shot the guy. So now he's getting 4 years just because his gun wasn't registered. Now, should his gun be registered? Yeah, sure. But Tyrus brought up on Gutfeld, obviously he's black, and he said, I'm tired of sticking up for white people. But it said it as a joke. He said, because you guys got to stick up for yourselves. He said, because if that dude was black, he would have got out in a minute. He would never got 4 years. He said everything is upside down in this country because the Democrats are trying to divide, and they're using the whole racial thing. Every time something happens, or whatever it is, or an argument happens, oh, you're racist, you're fascist, you're this. He brought up a pretty good point. So anybody out there that's listening right now, go look at it, because it was kind of, he made a really good point. And that's
right.
things are happening. So.
All right, let me We're going to take a break, and then we'll come back again to the next segment.
America's Pulse Network. The mainstream media is bought and paid for. The truth is twisted to fit their agenda, but America is waking up because podcasts are the future for trusted media. Welcome to the America's Pulse Network. It is a network built by patriots that upholds the Constitution. The America's Pulse Network stands for God, truth, and the America First movement. There is no corporate propaganda, no government spin, just real news, real talk, and real voices fighting for faith, freedom, and the future of this great nation with common sense. Here are some of America's Pulse Network podcasts. Alexandra Levine Live, hosted by Alexandra Levine. Jersey Shore Podcast, hosted by Damon Galdo. The Conservative Corner, hosted by Seth Eisenberg. APN's The Pulse, hosted by Alexandra, Damon, Elena, and Seth. So tune into America's Pulse Network on the following social media platforms: X/Twitter, Rumble, Truth Social, Parler, Facebook, and YouTube. Join the revolution. Because the pulse of America beats for God and country. America's Pulse Network is for faith, family, freedom, and truth.
Yep, so you got me on Sundays, you got Damon. You have 2 shows during the week, correct?
Yes.
You've got Alexandra, who has 2 shows too. Then we have The Pulse that you're watching now, and then it repeats every week. And while we're talking about that, I just want to put this out there. What I don't understand, and maybe somebody can text the answer to me on this one, a girl that farts in a jar has 2 million followers. 2 million people follow that chick. We can't even get 100,000. We actually provide a service. We actually make you think. We try to do things to educate you. She farts in a jar and sells it. Somebody explain to me how that's working. How come we're not getting, you know what? If we could get 2,500 people to watch us, that would be awesome. I don't need 1 million. I just need to know what's wrong with society. Fart in a jar, get 1 million followers. Try to educate people, you get like 100. I don't get it.
We're in the wrong line of work.
I'm going to start farting in a jar.
I was going to say,
Okay, so our next segment kind of goes into my monologue. Christmas is under attack. And by that I mean the holidays in general. Christmas, Hanukkah, Easter, 4th of July. They're all being attacked. And I'll give you a hint, or I'll ask the question and maybe you can get it. Who do you think's doing the attacking? Who do you think's to blame for the assault on holidays? I'll give you a hint. It's not the Republicans or conservatives. There you go. I don't, and it's been going on for a while, but it's gotten worse. Like worse. And how do I know it's gotten worse? Let me show you this. They will not call it a Christmas tree because it will offend people. It's a holiday tree. A holiday tree.
it's paganism anyway.
Let it be pagan. That's fine. And you know what? I'm not going to argue that because it's right. But what is wrong with calling it a Christmas tree? What? If that offends you, you don't got to look at it. Keep walking. Yeah.
Double.
What do you think about that, Fred? Why do you? Well, what do you think about Portland not letting people call it a Christmas or refusing to call it a Christmas tree?
Portland's lost laws anyway. But we just need a great earthquake along that fault line there, so they just fall off the country. Just drown, be gone. We'd be better off with stop. No question about it. No. It's always going to be a Christmas tree. I will always call it a Christmas tree, and I will always say Merry Christmas.
There's nothing wrong with that.
If you get offended, well,
yeah,
too fucking bad.
If you get offended, it wasn't said to offend you. It wasn't like I'm going out of my way to say Merry Christmas hoping I offend you. I'm just being polite. Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
What do you think, Damon?
Well, first I just wanted to ask you guys if you hear an echo or any reverb. It's just me.
Nah, I don't
Okay,
hear
I
that.
can hear stuff repeating, so I didn't know what it was. I just want to make sure. I don't know if the listeners out there can hear it or not. But yeah, what I think is that it's called a Christmas tree. How did it start? Did it begin with a holiday tree? I mean, have you heard of that? I'm looking at my Christmas tree right here, and that's what it was called, a Christmas tree. So shut up. I don't care if you're offended that it's called a Christmas tree. I'm offended that you're offended because that's what it is. Christmas created that tree, all right? Not holiday, Christmas did, and that's where it came from. So just like Thanksgiving, you have turkey. I want to hear about, I'm offended you're killing turkeys. Well, that's what we eat. We eat turkeys. So shut up. I'm so tired of it. So that's how I feel.
Understand.
So apparently,
Understand. Seth had stuffed hummus.
it's my mic that's.
Hummus.
So the producer just said causing the echoes. He just
Yeah. What's with the feedback?
so,
I have no idea how to fix that. I just talk. That's all I do. I talk.
yeah.
Are we still there?
So no, just listen.
Still there?
Yeah.
Y'all hear me now?
Yeah. I can hear you. You don't echo. When I talk, I echo and and everybody out there. I apologize because there's always technical difficulties when we do this stuff. It's not our producer's fault. He's awesome, but it's always something to do with Restream or different, whatever it is, different social media platforms that do this. So, but go ahead, Sid.
No, but I agree that it's a Christmas tree. Call it a Christmas tree. And if that offends you, no one's purposely trying to offend you. It's just what it's called. If it looks like it, walks like it, and quacks like it, call it what it is. And I'm tired of having to tiptoe around things because someone might get offended, or someone might call HR, or someone might call the police, or because you can't say that. When did Americans stop having a set of balls?
As I said earlier.
When did this? When did we get offended by everything? When did we become a nation of victims, where everything hurts us, where words could drop people to their knees and cause them physical pain? When did this happen? It's embarrassing. You can't say Merry Christmas to somebody anymore because you might get yelled at.
Yeah, well, yell at me if I dare for somebody to yell at me for saying that. Enough is enough. That's why I'm so happy that Trump is in, and listen, because he's done with the political correctness, just like most people are. No one wants to get canceled anymore for saying something that people are offended by. Because again, I'll be offended that you're offended. That's my line. So, with Trump, like I said, sometimes he goes overboard. It's fine, just like he did a little bit today when he was talking about the Somalians and all that. But he was right in what he said. It wasn't presidential in the way he said it. But guess what? I'm good with it. I'm good. I'm tired of the feelings and hurting your feelings. It's not, your feelings don't matter to me. Your feelings are just, especially when I say, if I could say, Seth, your foot is disgusting when you showed it on your. Oh, if I hurt your feelings, well, you showed it on your show. I want to tell you. You just say, I could say you go after the Army or no, it was the Air Force saying they're like, but and then they can come at you and say, oh, the Navy, fags or whatever they want to call it. But I don't want to say we're fags, but that's what the people. That's we're all adults here. But so I don't care about what the words that are used. It's like Trump called Tim Walz retarded. People were all upset about that. Oh, you can't use that word retarded. Well, it's a word. So, and Trump backed it up and said, obviously there's something wrong with the man, So, yeah, he's retarded. So, and I get it. People might not like that word, but it's a word in the dictionary. It's been used since the beginning of our language, I would say, and it has a meaning to it. So don't just change and say, well, that word offends me. I don't care. It's a word. I'll leave it at that.
It's like that picture offends me. Well, then don't look at it. It hurts my arm, Doc, when I do this. Well, then don't do that. Stop being offended by don't. It's like self-inflicted wounds. I don't feel sorry for people. He said, "Merry Christmas." I'm offended. Hey, grow up. Christ Almighty, grow up. I'm sure you've been told worse in your life than "Merry Christmas." People. I don't.
It's imagine that. I'm offended.
It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
It is.
Not just to me, but to me as a man, that men get, I'm offended. What? You're offended by words? Because someone said Merry Christmas, you're offended? Whatever, you cuck. I don't care. Now I want to show you this video, which is ridiculously stupid. Fred has to switch positions. He'll be back. But this video is just horrible. Let me find it. Where did we put that? Right here. You'll love it. You'll love it. See, that's the difference between what we have in the office now. We got a traditionalist, then we have Lunch Bucket Joe. His offends me. I think Lunch Bucket Joe's, that offended me. What does that got to do with it? Got a bunch of morons leaping and prancing around. You got nothing to do with anything. And now you got Trump, who's actually got a Christmas tree.
So, yeah, I don't know if you got somebody in the background. First, I thought I was like, hold on a second. Who's getting changed in the background?
That's my lean fighting machine.
Yeah. No, gonna have it back on. But yeah, I mean, I wasn't offended by it. I was disappointed. You know, I was disappointed. I was like, how is this America? And then it's the contrast between the two. It's like it's unbelievable. You know, one is America. One is I don't even have a word for it. It's just not America. I think you're muted, Seth. I think our producer's trying to help us out with the echo.
Let me see. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can. Yeah. So
I say one is woke and one is Christmas. Okay, one is about being woke and not about Christmas. It's about being, hey, look how progressive I am. Other one's about, hey, this is Christmas. It's about Christmas. Nothing more, nothing less. It's not about an agenda. And that's the difference between Lunch Bucket and Trump. Which and people support Biden. They support that crap, and I don't get it. What do
you see that?
What do you think, Fred? Yeah. What happened?
No, I didn't know if Fred was back on, if he saw the video or not.
No. Did you see that video, Fred?
Yes. Was that produced by the White House?
What do you think? The Biden, the top one was Trump.
It's apples and oranges, man. Gays and straights.
Again, I don't even got words. It's just it's ridiculous that I don't know how anybody could support that. It's not Christmas. It has nothing to do. Even if you don't believe in Christmas, like I don't believe in Christ or any of that, fine. Christmas is about family. It's about being together. And that video from Bunch Bucket Joe didn't do anything about that.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
It was the furthest thing from Christmas you could ever put up. Other than little fairy elves floating around or whatever the hell they were.
Fairy elves. Fairy elves. I love fairy elves. So what do you think about it, Damon? You think Christmas is going to get pushed aside eventually, or do you think people will finally stand up and say, you know what, suck it up?
There we go. Yeah,
Yep.
there we go. I'll mute my own mic when I'm not talking to, because I know we're having issues here. So our great producer, you don't have to do it for me. I'll do it when I'm not talking. I just think that we're just losing sight of who we are as a country and what made us great. I mean, if you look at, I don't know if you plan on. I know we're getting late in this segment too. I didn't get a chance to look at your segments, what the whole show was about. I know if you plan on talking about Somalia, and talking about the fraud with Somalia and everything in Minnesota with Tim Walz and all that stuff. But I mean, I won't go too deep into it. We're going to talk about it later. But that's the thing. No one wants to assimilate to a country when we have that influx of all these migrants that don't want to do this. And this is how it happens. And you look at the Democrats and these people, they went nuts. They went so far left, they're crazy. And I know, Fred, you mentioned earlier about abortion being a problem. They don't want to have kids either. I mean, that's why they're little dancing sprite fairies all over the place. And, and that's what they do. That they don't want to care for anyone else. They don't want to contribute to the system. They're all about themselves and what they think that is right and want to shove it down your throat. So it's just a loss in our culture and our morals and everything else, and that's by letting, as Trump said, there are more countries in here that will not assimilate. They're uneducated. You look at for instance, Somalia's GDP, 35% of it is sent from Somalians here in America, back to their country. So that's 35% of GDP. So they're not like a great country. They're not doing well. The education they have is not good whatsoever. So they come here and we'll get into that. If you want to talk about it later, I'll get into it later. I don't want to go off beat. So
yeah, we're going to talk about immigration, I think, next. All right. Fred, what do you think? Last word before we go to the next segment.
Christmas is dying just like Black Friday died. Yeah. Black Friday, people would get stampeded at Walmart. Just get mowed over. It doesn't happen anymore because it's all done online now. Other than individual families getting together and celebrating the birth of Christ, which is the whole meaning of Christmas, I don't see it happening other than some of the churches that are coming back. Thankfully, Charlie Kirk did some awakening before he left us. If you're not in a good Bible-based church, forget it. You're not going to see Christmas anymore. There's a church down the street here who's having a night. There's no tree. It's just a pole with lights strung down from it. What the hell?
A little off topic. I think most churches are afraid of losing people, so they're more preaching what's popular rather than what's right. They want to keep butts in this, and I don't agree with it. I'm just saying I think that's what a lot of churches are doing now, just trying to keep people coming in, and not rather than do the right thing, they're talking what's popular and what's hip and what people like. I mean, I could be wrong. I haven't been to church in a while. But yeah, I think Christmas is going to change as we know it more and more and more as we get further down the road. And I hope not. I enjoy Christmas. But let's take a break and come back and get into the next segment.
The APN's The Pulse podcast is hosted by Alexandra Levine from the Alexandra Levine Life podcast. And Damon Galdo from the Jersey Shore podcast. And Seth Eisenberg from the Conservative Corner podcast. Also, there will be 2 additional guests on every episode. The Pulse is live every Wednesday at 8 p.m.
Did we lose Fred? You're okay.
There's his cabinets.
Cabinets look nice. They look very nice. Now I want cabinets just like that. I'm sure he's going to come back. He's probably having some technical issues. Like you said, it happens a lot on this, and I don't know why, but it does. In the third segment, I called immigration issues because we want to talk about Somalia, people, and what's it, up there in Michigan. I think Trump has finally said he's going to halt all immigration cases, including citizenship ceremonies for 19 countries. A lot of those are from the Middle East, and I think from other countries that he's deemed, what's the word? Not desirable, I guess. And I don't know if that's how it should be worded, but that's how I'm going to word it. And I agree. I don't think everybody should just be able to come into this country because. I don't agree with that. Never have, never will. Most countries you have to have a reason to be here, and you have to bring a skill that country needs before you can come in. And if we don't need that skill, you don't get to come in. And I think that's legitimate. I don't think that is ridiculous. I mean, but again, we have liberals that think you should be able to come to the country just because. And I don't agree with that. What do you think, Damon?
Well, I would say, like I was saying in the last segment, I kind of got ahead of ourselves with this conversation, but if you think about it, you have people that colonized here, and then you had immigrants come here over the years, mass immigration. But they came from different countries, and they came here for a reason. They came here because they wanted the American dream, to come over here to have a chance to work, the chance of the pursuit of happiness and everything like that. But when we get into a welfare state that we have been in a long time, and I used this analogy before, something like, if you have a store or a restaurant, you sell hamburgers, and you have a sign up there that says help wanted, that's for you to go there and get a job. But when you start putting a sign up there that says free hamburgers, then you're going to bring in the worst of the worst. Anyone that's in a third world country that's not going to assimilate to our country, doesn't have our values, and they're going to come here and say, wow, I can come to the United States and get everything for free. And that's exactly what has happened with our welfare state. So you can't not look at it that's not the problem. I mean, again, I brought up Somalia before because that's the latest in the news. But any third world country, people that aren't living in very, very bad conditions, and they can get their way to cross the border illegally under Biden and all that stuff, or that the CPP app or whatever it is, and get flown in here, then of course they're going to come. I mean, who wouldn't? They're eating nothing, barely anything over in their third world country, and so I go to the United States and I get put up a hotel in New York City, and they'll give me free food and they'll give me free everything. Of course, that's what the major problem is.
I agree. If you're giving away stuff, everybody wants to be here, and the people who want the free stuff are probably not the ones you want to have here. You want the ones that will work for it. What do you think about it, Fred?
Am I unmuted?
Yeah.
Okay. There was a time people would get off the boat at Ellis Island, fall on their knees and kiss the ground. Say, thank God I am here. And now they come in with their hands out in some degree, but then they don't assimilate. Assimilation, that's an invasion. And we have been invaded. Look at Minnesota. Look at Detroit. I mean, look at England. Oh my God. I mean, like 20, 25 mayors in England are Muslim, and they have Sharia courts set up. No, Yeah, you come in, you live under our laws. You don't bring your laws with you. You don't get to belittle women and beat women and rape, have underage girls and marriages. That is not the American way. That is not the way we were raised. That's not what our founding was. And then they're going to be expanding that 19 to 32. The 19 countries are going to go to 32 within the next couple of days. So, according to Rubio.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not against immigration as long as it's controlled. I don't think it should be, like I said before, open willy-nilly. Anybody can come here. Welcome. You don't need to bring a skill. You don't need to have an education. Just, come on in, grab a seat, and, we'll take care of everything else for you, like Damon was saying. I don't agree with that. And I blame the Democrats. I blame them 100% for all this. You were talking about Sharia courts in England. They're trying to do that here to the point where we have to pass a law that says Sharia law is illegal in the U.S. That's how worried these people are. And you know how you can avoid that? Don't let them into the country.
Yeah.
Then you don't have to make any laws about anything. You just don't let them in. Coming into this country is not a guarantee. You're not guaranteed that.
Up until 1992, if you were not born in the United States, you could not serve in federal office.
I think that's great.
Chucky Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, McCain, and who's the other one? I can't think of his name right now. But there was four of them that are serving. Or McCain's dead now. But they had that law changed to allow non-citizens to serve. And look at what we got. Ilhan Omar, Tlaib, and then now New York City with Mamdani. I feel sorry for Dave. They're going to be moving into your neighborhood next.
Well, yeah, they will be. In New Jersey here, they already are. We are a sanctuary state, unfortunately, and we have over 1 million illegals here. I can't tell you where they're from, but we do have over 1 million illegals, and that's a problem. And we just lost the gubernatorial race. Jack Ciattarelli lost to Mikey Sherrill, who is going to be Phil Murphy 2.0, who's going to be termed out in January, and she's going to get in. So it's not looking good for New Jersey. It's not looking good for. And that's why I always tell people, I'm like, if you just pay attention to all this. We were, and I said this in the last podcast and one before that, one or the other, but I said it multiple times. We were $5 trillion in debt in 2000. Now, that's like 225 years of being a country and being $5 trillion in debt. It was kind of normal for most countries and to be in that type of debt. So, but in the next 25 years, we go to 39 trillion in debt. How do you think that happened? Because we put the free burger sign, on the window, or whatever you want to call it. That's my stupid analogy, but it does make sense. But come here, you get everything for free, and that's the problem. Like, you can't give everything away for free. You want people that want to come here to go after that American dream, that want to work, that want to contribute, be a productive member of society, and not come here and say, you owe me this. Like, I don't owe you a goddamn thing. All right. I go to work every day, bust my ass. I've got 2 herniated discs in my back. I got 2 kids and a painting butt wife. And she's not watching right now. She's going to see it later. I'm going to yell at. But she will see this later. I will get yelled at. So if she was watching live, the door would pop right open. So, But it's just like, we work hard for this. There are people that want to come here and work hard and build this country up, not just be a leech on the ass of this country. Like, I don't owe you a damn. The only thing I owe you is being humanitarian. And if you are, actually seeking asylum, something like that, and you can prove it, yeah, sure. I would say I would owe you that as a humanitarian. That we will look at it, but I don't make those choices. But still, I mean, I'll treat everybody nice and proper. But you're not coming in here and sticking your hand in my pocket and taking my money that I work hard for. It's not happening.
I'll tell you what's going to happen. Shut down all immigration until every illegal on from here. Then you have to process up. You have a resume. What skills do you have? You have money. Do you have a place? This is why our housing is so expensive now. We have 20, 30 million illegals that are taking housing from America's folks who are looking for houses. They can't afford it because everything is gone. Build them, they're gone. They're sold. And you have the ones that, young families. I know a young couple now. Got married, waited until married and whatnot, and it was boring, but they did it right. But they can't buy a house because they don't have enough down payment. You need a 20% down payment to buy a house. 20% down now. And it's all because the housing is gone. That's all I have to say on that.
You know what the real problem is? It's we have politicians that see no problem with what's going on. And let me show you my favorite politician. Well, not my favorite. She's in the top 5 of my favorite politicians. And you're about to see why I like her. Just really would like to invite her to my house for dinner.
Look at this rooms, motherfucker. We ain't going anywhere. Political structures that I have to work in, that we all are surrounded by, was built on slavery and genocide and rape and oppression. Real change doesn't come from the cowards and warmongers in Congress. It comes from the streets. It comes from all of us mobilizing and seizing the power to resist and fight back. Gaza is the compass in this country. Now we're in
That should frighten everybody in this country as a citizen. That should scare the shit out of you. A sitting American politician talking about resist and fighting, talking about how this country she feels was built on genocide and rape and all this other crap. When we all know that's all the tenets of Islam, rape and genocide. That's what they do. But that should frighten you that an American politician is speaking to a room full of Americans preaching about resisting and fighting this country. She should be removed from office immediately, face treason charges, and once she's found guilty, sent back to the third world country whence she came from and forced to live there. All of them. All of them. If this were back in the founding of our country, and again, if I offend people, I offend them, our forefathers would be stacking their bodies like cordwood on the corner of the street. They would not be standing for this. There would be blood in the streets, and they'd be fighting tooth and nail to get these people out of here.
Yep.
But we have Democrats that welcome them with open arms and let them do this. This is going to get worse. It's not going to get better until we do something. And I hope Trump is serious about what he's saying. I hope he really means he's going to cut off his off and stop it for a while. Heard it before. It's never happened. What do you think, Damon?
Well, I would say, yes, I agree with that 100%. I mean, but it's happening not just in the United States. It's happening over in Europe, too. I don't know if it's a globalist thing, but they're letting Islam take over everywhere where it wasn't their culture. It wasn't their culture in Europe. It wasn't our culture here in the United States. And they're letting these countries come in that won't, again, I hate to repeat myself, like assimilate to what your country is about. Now, you could bring your culture. That's fine. You bring your culture and believe in who you want to be. But no, you're gonna live by the laws of the land. And when somebody like that is elected official, get out now. I don't. There's probably not any laws that you can do that, but the people need to vote her out. That's the way that works. So, but the only thing is they stack the deck in every state, like Minnesota. I mean, look at Minnesota. Again, I'm going to repeat myself. Full of Somalians. It's like 900,000 Somalians that they just imported within the past 20 years. So, of course, we're going to elect Omar. Over and over again. Because I had to look it up. I'm like, why the hell does she keep getting elected? Like she's anti-American. She talks about her country as being Somalia, not the United States. You are an elected official of the United States Congress, and you talk about my country, Somalia. No, that right there should be a disqualification right then and there. Nope, you're gone. But unfortunately, that's not the way the laws work, but that's why we need people to get out there and vote. That's why we need Republicans to get off their lazy asses and go out there and vote. That's why we lost the election in New Jersey because only 32% of Republicans came out to vote. That's a sad thing. So it needs to happen. You need to stick up for if you don't want to lose what you have and you don't want things to get worse, then you need to stand up and I'm not saying to fight, but at least make an effort. Vote. Get out there. Get rid of these people. I mean, it's unbelievable. And then don't complain about it later. It's unbelievable how I talk to people at work. Well, I didn't vote. Why? My vote doesn't count. How many people do you think said that the vote didn't count? I said 32% came out to vote. I said if we had 50%, then we would have won the election. I mean, at least, and that's 50% is still not a good percentage. Everyone. Well, I know you're never going to get 100, but you know what I mean. But as many as possibly can. So that's how I feel.
What do you think, Fred?
Like I said, cut off immigration. If I'd heard that bitch say what she said, I'd have taken her out myself. She should be 1, censured, 2, removed from Congress, and 3, kicked out of the freaking country. She should be gone.
Yeah, I don't know how. I don't know how a sitting U.S. politician can say that and then face no consequences at all from anybody. I mean, she's basically calling for the overthrow of the government that she works for, that's paying her bill. And people are like, "Yay, all right, woohoo, let's do it."
Yeah, you got AOC over there in the corner.
It's an invasion. That's what it is. And the reason why it's happening is the Democrats are soft on it because they're doing it for power, doing it for votes. Everyone damn well knows that wide open border that Biden had, it was planned. It was planned to get as many people as they can to have them vote. I know for a fact a lot of illegals voted in the state of New Jersey. I know they get them licensed. They don't have voter ID in New Jersey. I'm just speaking for this state. I'm sure it happens in many states as well. But it was planned. That's why all these judges are filing injunctions about the deportations. You have, sitting senators, I think yours, Van Holland, going over to, I don't want to say his name. I'm tired of saying it. Yeah, well, yeah, I'll call him Maryland man. I don't even want to say his actual name because I'm tired of saying it. But yeah, all that stuff because they want to stop it. They want the vote. They want to say, here, I'm going to give this for free. They don't care about how much it costs to working people. And the thing is, they have to realize it. They're removing the middle class. The middle class is what drives this country. It always has been. That's what it is. And again, I'm going to have to refer to my state because I live here. But our governor just more than doubled the minimum wage. So more than doubled the minimum wage. So inflation was up so high over Biden, 23% over his 4 years, which should be 2% each year. That's the goal. So 23%. And then they go and they double minimum wage from $7 to $15. So if now I go to McDonald's, with my kids, it's expensive because they have to charge more money. They're a business; they have to stay open. Any businesses went under, and businesses have to charge more. And who gets charged more? The middle class is the majority of the country, and the state, the country, and all that. So, and wages don't catch up to the inflation that fast. It takes a while to do so. So everything's already too expensive, and then you double minimum wage, make things more expensive, and expect the middle class to keep on going and just keep killing us. So they're eliminating the middle class. The amount of deductions out of my paycheck is astronomical, more than I've ever seen before, and the income isn't keeping up with the price. But the lower class just doubled their wages, so they're good, and they're still collecting free benefits too because they're just under that cutoff. But somebody like myself, I make too much. I can't get anything for free. They just take. That's it, and that's how they're going to destroy this country because they're destroying the middle class.
All right, let's take a last break and then get to the last segment and wrap all this up like a neat burrito from some Mexican place. California tortilla. We'll wrap it up like California tortilla.
Welcome to America's Pulse Network. This is APN's very own White House correspondent, Alexandra Levine.
This is so amazing and miraculous. We've never had a president in the history of our nation doing this. And we hope to God that he continues doing this forever and ever. Thank you. God bless you, everybody. And God bless President Trump.
And God bless you.
Hello, everyone. This is Alexandra Levine with the America's Pulse Network. I am the White House correspondent right here in the heart of D.C. as President Trump is celebrating 250 years of America and the military.
Subscribe and follow America's Pulse Network on the above social medias.
Okay, so we're at the last segment, and it's called What WTF Ever. Just a bunch of stuff I threw in there. We got 10 minutes left, so we're going to speed round this and fire out our responses. So the first thing, did the U.S. commit a war crime in the Caribbean? September 2nd, the U.S. Navy put down, again, because they're saying we haven't proven it yet, a suspected drug boat, shot at it again, and killed survivors who were in the water. Again, this is all allegedly. I haven't seen any proof either way. Fred was in the Navy. I was in the Navy. So go Navy, especially this weekend. Go Navy, beat Army.
Yeah.
But what do you think, Fred? Do you think that's a war crime, or do you think it was an honest, they didn't see survivors in the water? What do you think?
Honestly, I think people up who fired the shots on charges because they didn't do a good kill. they didn't aim good enough. Should have got them first ammo.
And you all think I'm a hard ass. Whatever. What do you think, Damon?
I wasn't expecting that answer, but that was a good one. Yeah, stop wasting ammo. And should have got him the first time. But no, what I think is, no, I don't think it was a war crime at all, because it came from an article that the Washington Post put out there first, and even the New York Times, even of all of the liberal newspapers, came out and said nothing was verified. So it was either they didn't know that there were survivors in the water. But at the same time, if you look at it, if there were survivors in the water and they're deemed a terrorist group and they're bringing drugs, fentanyl in that are definitely is going to kill Americans, we've got 100,000 a year that are dying from fentanyl being brought into our country. So if there's any shot that they survived and the boat is still intact and they call another boat from their terrorist drug group, and they come pick it up, and then they still continue to bring it to the United States and kill 100,000 more people, then if there's any chance of that, you can argue the fact that no, it's not. We had to finish off the boat, sink the drugs. They happen to be hanging on it. That's it. But but still, we don't know anything about it. Go ahead, Fred.
rather than going after first, I suggest they carry chum and just drop it in the water and bring the sharks in. You know, they either eaten by sharks or shot. Which would you rather have?
When I was in the Navy, we took a class of boot camp at the Geneva Convention, and it's granted it's been a long time, but I do recall that you can't fire on forces that are surrendering. Maybe these guys weren't surrendering. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know the full story. I don't know, but I from what I've read, it doesn't seem like it's a war crime to me. It doesn't seem like it was intentional to kill survivors. I think they saw the ship was still somewhat intact, still somewhat afloat. They could still see drugs on board, and they shot the boat. And if that's the case, hey, you do the risk of taking this job. You're running goddamn illegal drugs. The country you're running drugs from, yeah, it's still illegal in Venezuela. They'll lock you up or kill you for doing that. What do you expect to happen? Like, they're going to throw flowers at you and please stop, turn around. We don't want to squirt guns. I've said it before and I'll say it again. You are poking the bear, and that bear is the most sophisticated, lethal Navy in the world. And you want to try to challenge them. Oh, you're not going to stop us. We're going to send out a speedboat. Oh, really? Well, we got something for you. It's called a Tomahawk. Let me introduce you to. I don't feel sorry for them. And I've said it before, and it may make me a bad person. I don't feel sorry for them. Like Damon said, they're killing hundreds of thousands of our countrymen yearly, all the time. And not only killing them, but they're ruining other people's lives because of it. I don't feel any empathy. I don't feel sorry. You don't want to die. Stop trying to bring drugs into the country. And yes, I realize it's a supply and demand thing. I understand there's a demand in this country for drugs. We are the number one user of drugs in the world. I get that. But you got to do something to stop it. And I'd rather do the wrong thing than do nothing at all.
Well, let me put this out there. Just think about it. When Biden had that disastrous pullout from Afghanistan, right? 13 service members got killed, people falling off planes, then brought, people from Afghanistan, like 90,000, I believe it was, in or close to that. And then one guy just killed 2 of our servicemen. That was on Biden. But after that happened, for him to save face, he droned an innocent family. You remember that? He droned an innocent family by mistake. Well, I don't know, mistake or whatever. We were trying to just get away. Who knows what it was? But he said, we just droned this guy. It was a family in the car that were with cases of water, from what I remember. But I know it was an innocent family. No media covered it. It was covered, but no one made us think about it because it was the Democrat president that did it, and the media is controlled by the Democrats. So no one made us think, okay, well, it was a mistake, no problem. But when we Tomahawk missile a boat full of friggin' drugs, and there happens to be 2 survivors that maybe there weren't, we don't know the whole story, but the boat was still afloat, it's still carrying the drugs, then shut up. Again, I'm so tired of the double freaking standard. So anybody out there, you're all, it's fucking bullshit. I'm so tired of it. So yeah, drone every single drug boat that's heading our way, and just tell them, listen, I'll drone you 7 times if it thinks that. I'll tomahawk. If I got to hit you individually, one at a time, then we'll do that. That's what I like about Trump. He's like, hell with it, just do it. Because as long as you prove it's a drug boat, I'm good with it.
Now, this next one ties into that. A Colombian family files first known formal complaint over the deadly U.S. strike in the Caribbean. Apparently, these people are claiming that their dearly departed loved one was a fisherman, and there was a fishing boat that the U.S. Navy sank, and he was just out there trying to catch some grouper or whatever it is they fish for. And I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. The U.S. Navy is not guessing which boats to shoot at. They're not sitting on their ship flipping a coin and go, okay, we'll get this one. Without being 100% sure and not saying I have some secret knowledge, because I don't, There are people on the ground that are spotting these boats as they come off Venezuela's coast. They have people are going, yes, you got the boat coming out at this time, at this place. It's got drugs, sink it. The Navy is not guessing. They're not taking pot shots and hoping they hit somebody that's bad. They know what they're doing. I don't believe this man was a fisherman. I don't believe he was innocent. I believe some shitbird lawyer got a hold of the family and said, look, you stand to make millions. Let's sue. That's what I think happened. The Navy ain't. We're not talking about grandpa in a canoe with a shotgun after drinking some wild turkey, firing off at people because he thinks they're bad. They know what's going on. For Christ's sakes, they have satellites that could read my watch. They know what they're doing. So I'm sick of hearing about these could be innocent civilians. They could be. And my grandfather could have been my grandmother if he had tits, but he didn't. So I don't want to hear about could be. All right, so we got a few minutes left, so quick answer. What do you say, Damon?
Seth, I would say he probably went fishing once or twice in his life. So maybe that's going to be their case. Yeah, he did fish. He caught a fish once before, so he's a fisherman. But ignore the drugs in the boat. But yeah, listen, as you know, I'm tired of it. It's bullshit, and we all know it is. It's everything to go after the orange man and to make him look bad. And they keep losing to him, and that's the problem. So they keep coming after him and after him over and over again. But that's why, again, it's so very important that we preserve our Constitution, because Democrats broke some glass that can't be unbroken at this point, and we don't want things to spiral out of control. So make sure you vote for the right people in, so the people have control over this. Because remember, the government works for us. Then we don't work for them. So that's why your vote is very important.
Fred, last word on that.
First fishing rod or net that's on one of those boats. Show me. When you blow it up, why does all this white powder go into the air?
It was talking powder.
I got it.
That white stuff is all the hopes and dreams being incinerated by the tomahawk.
They have no case, sir. I mean, the Hague will shoot it down.
And I agree. And like I said, the U.S. Navy's not guessing. I was in the Navy. Fred was in the Navy. Some of the finest people in this country are in the U.S. Navy. They got some of the finest people working at the Pentagon who do intelligence and look at stuff and make determinations. Are they perfect? No. No one would ever say they're perfect. But I'm willing to bet 9 times out of 10 they're right. And when it comes to this, it's 10 out of 10. I don't think they're making mistakes because they know everybody's watching. They know if they make one mistake, they're screwed. So they're dotting their I's and crossing their T's. I don't think they're just guessing. They know what they're doing. And like I said, go Navy, beat Army. God bless the Marines. I think everybody can agree that we're all better than the Air Force. I'm just saying. So I want to thank Fred for being here. Fred, give a little stump speech on where they can find you and a little bit about the club.
All right. It's Frederick County Conservative. We're not having a meeting this month, December, but we are having one in January, which is our human trafficking awareness meeting. And we are trying to get Congressman Chip Roy from Texas. He's big on human trafficking. So hopefully my contacts will be able to put that together, and that will be on January 12th. There's more coming.
And like Fred said, it's FCCC. Isn't it .us or is it .com now?
It's still .us, but sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
So it's either FCC.com or FCC.us. You can get to the website, find out what's going on. It's the largest conservative club in Western Maryland, the most busy. They do more things for the community and are involved in politics. 2 years ago, I think we had the only gubernatorial debate in Maryland. So we are very active. And yes, I'm the vice president, so I am kind of biased towards that club. but I enjoy being a part of it. Fred's a great guy. He's a good leader, and he's done a lot with that club in a short amount of time. Damon, where can people find you? What's going on with you?
Well, everyone knows where to find me. Knows my social media. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, X. I'm sorry, Facebook, with Damon M Galdo NJ on both. On True Social everywhere, and you can find me at votedamongaldo.com because I'm running for Congress again. The website is not updated yet. Working on it right now, so it's going to be from the last time. If you go there now, don't donate anything yet, because the anodot link that's on there is an old link. So, but donate later. But I will let everyone know. So I'm updating the website this week, and yeah, so just keep on pushing on, man. That's what we got to do. U.S. Border Patrol, I like the hat there, and he's gotten close down. Yeah. So, Brett, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
No, thanks for being here. Again, I ran for office when I was in a while ago. Very low office, Board of Education. As you get higher on that food chain, it takes more and more money. So if you can donate to Damon anything, $5 is a lot. But donate what you can, and remember, always vote for the most conservative person running, and that would be Damon, and that would be Tim Fazenbaker in Baltimore. Vote for these people, support them, donate your time and your money. Do what you can to get them in office. And if you don't help them get to office, you're to blame, and you can't complain about anything. So you'll have to bite your tongue and just sit there while I point at you and ridicule you for not helping people because you're too lazy, too tired, and couldn't go out there and do it.
And you'll get the
I want to thank the Hammer. Speaking of the Hammer, me and Damon are working on a pretty important interview. We're still kind of fine-tuning some things, so I don't want to get into it more than that. As we know more, we will let you know. But trust me, it's going to be incredible. When this comes together, it's going to be awesome. But we will keep you informed of that. Fred, thanks for coming. I appreciate it. And I'll talk to you this week at some point. I know I will. Damon, again, thanks for hanging out. Always good to see you. Everybody, thanks for hanging out this evening. If you're watching it now or watching it later, remember to like, share, and follow everything you can about America's Pulse Network. Check out fccc.us or .com. Remember, Damon's running for office. Support him any way you can. And if you live your life by a set of principles and not a political party, you're going to lead a very good life and leave something behind that your family will be proud of. I will see you Sunday at 7.
Alexandra Levine Live, hosted by Alexandra Levine. Jersey Shore Podcast, hosted by Damon Galdo. The Conservative Corner, hosted by Seth Eisenberg. Because the pulse of America beats for God and country, America's Pulse Network is for faith, family, freedom, and truth.